Dr. Kim Taiho pushed his thick glasses up his nose and stared at the numbers on his computer screen. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Nobody would listen to him. Outside his small laboratory window, he could see people dancing in the streets of Seoul. Fireworks exploded in the bright afternoon sky. Car horns honked in celebration. Everyone was happy because today was the most important day in human history. The aliens had finally come to Earth, and they said they were friends. Taiho was not celebrating. His hands shook as he looked at the strange energy readings his machines had picked up from the alien ships. The numbers made no sense. These were not the energy patterns of peaceful explorers. These readings looked like something else entirely. 3 massive alien ships hung in the sky of major cities around the world. One floated over New York, another over London, and the third right here above Seoul. Each ship was the size of a small mountain, dark metal gleaming in the sunlight. They had arrived just 2 days ago without any warning. The aliens called themselves the Calarians. Their leader, Commander Vextel, had spoken to world leaders through holographic messages. He was tall and thin, with smooth gray skin and large black eyes. His voice was calm and friendly when he explained why they had come to Earth. "We have traveled across the galaxy to meet your wonderful species," the commander had said. "We offer friendship and amazing technology that will help your people reach the stars. In return, we ask only for cultural exchange. Want to learn about human art, music, and way of life? Some of your people can come to our ships to share knowledge, while some of our people learn about your world." The world's presidents and prime ministers had been amazed. Here was humanity's chance to join a great galactic civilization. The aliens offered clean energy, faster computers, medicine that could cure any disease, and ships that could travel between stars. It seemed too good to be true. And that was exactly what worried Taiho. He had been working late in his quantum physics laboratory when the alien ships first appeared. His equipment was designed to study tiny particles in energy fields that most people could not even imagine. When the huge ships arrived, his sensitive machines had immediately started detecting strange signals. At first, Taiho thought his equipment was broken. The energy readings were unlike anything he had ever seen. But after checking and double-checking his instruments, he realized the readings were real. The alien ships were giving off massive amounts of contained energy. Not the kind of energy used for flying through space, but the kind used for holding things. Millions and millions of things. Taiho's friend and research partner, Dr. Park Minho, walked into the laboratory carrying 2 cups of coffee. Minho was always cheerful and optimistic about everything. Today, he was practically glowing with excitement. "Still working on those readings?" Minho asked, setting down 1 cup next to Taiho's computer. "Should come outside and celebrate with everyone else. This is the best day ever." "Look at these numbers," Taiho said, pointing at his screen. "These energy patterns are not normal. The alien ships are not just flying around up there. They are using huge amounts of power to contain something." Minho laughed and sipped his coffee. "Of course, they're using lots of power. Those ships are enormous. They probably need massive engines to fly between star systems." "You do not understand," Taiho insisted. "This is not engine power. This is containment power. Like the energy we use in our particle accelerators to hold dangerous materials. But these readings suggest they are containing millions of separate objects." "Maybe they have cargo holds full of gifts for us," Minho suggested. "Advanced technology takes a lot of energy to keep stable, right?" Taiho shook his head. His friend was smart about many things, but he did not understand quantum physics the way Taiho did. The energy signatures were all wrong for cargo or technology. They looked exactly like the containment fields used to hold living specimens in suspended animation. A knock on the laboratory door interrupted his thoughts. Leuna, his young research assistant, peeked her head inside. Her eyes were bright. with excitement. "Dr. Kim, you have to see this," she said. "The aliens are starting their cultural exchange program. They are asking for volunteers to visit their ships. 10,000 people from around the world will get to see alien technology up close." "That is wonderful news," Minho said. "I am thinking about volunteering myself. Imagine what we could learn." Taiho felt a cold fear creep up his spine. 10,000 people. The number seemed very specific. "Yuna, do you know how they are choosing the volunteers?" he asked. "They have some kind of advanced scanning technology," she replied. "They can analyze people from a distance to find the most suitable candidates. They want people with different genetic backgrounds, different skills, different ways of thinking. They say diversity is the most valuable thing about humanity." The cold fear turned into ice in Taiho's stomach. He quickly turned to his computer and started typing commands. His quantum analysis software began searching for patterns in the alien energy signatures. "What are you doing?" Minho asked. "Looking for selection patterns," Taiho muttered, his fingers flying across the keyboard. The results appeared on his screen a few minutes later. Taiho's face went white as he read the data. The alien ship's containment fields were organized in very specific groupings. Different sections held different types of energy signatures. It looked exactly like a classification system, a specimen classification system. "We need to warn someone," Taiho said, standing up so quickly that his chair fell over. "The government? The military? Anyone who will listen?" "Warn them about what?" Yuna asked, confused. "These aliens are not here for friendship," Taiho said. "They are here to collect us, just like they have collected others before us." Minho laughed again, but this time it sounded nervous. "Kaiho, you are being paranoid. Why would advanced aliens travel across the galaxy just to kidnap humans? That makes no sense." "It makes perfect sense if you think about it," Taiho replied. "We are unique. Every species in the universe probably has something special about them. The aliens do not want to be our friends. They want to study us. They want to collect examples of what makes us different." He grabbed his research data and headed for the door. "I am going to the government offices. Someone needs to know about this before it is too late." But when Taiho arrived at the government buildings, nobody would listen to him. The officials were too busy celebrating and planning welcome ceremonies for their new alien friends. Small time. Scientists with crazy theories was not welcome at such an important time. "Sir, please understand," one official told him politely but firmly. "We have the world's best experts studying every aspect of this first contact. If there was any danger, they would know about it." Taiho tried to explain his quantum energy readings, but the officials did not understand the science. To them, he was just another worried citizen seeing problems where none existed. As he walked back to his laboratory that evening, Taiho saw the first group of human volunteers boarding small alien shuttles. They were smiling and waving at the crowds below. Everyone cheered as the shuttles carried them up toward the massive ships floating in the sky. Taiho watched the shuttles disappear into the alien vessels and felt his heart sink. Somewhere above him, 10,000 humans were about to discover the truth about their new alien friends, and by then it would be too late to save them. Dr. Kim Taiho could not sleep. 3 days had passed since the first group of human volunteers went up to the alien ships. 3 days without any word from them. The government said everything was normal, that the volunteers were too busy learning amazing alien technology to send messages home. But Taiho knew better. He sat in his laboratory at 2 in the morning, running scan after scan on the Calarian ships. His quantum detection equipment hummed quietly in the dark room. Every few minutes, the machines would beep softly and display new energy readings on his computer screen. The numbers were getting worse. Taiho rubbed his tired eyes and took another sip of cold coffee. The containment field readings from the alien ships had grown stronger over the past 3 days. Much stronger. It was as if thousands of new specimens had been added to whatever collection the aliens were keeping up there. A soft knock on the laboratory door made him jump. Lee Yuna pushed the door open and stepped inside, carrying a bag of food from the convenience store. "I thought you might be hungry," she said, setting the bag on his desk. "You have been here for almost 20 hours. Straight." "Thank you," Taiho said, but he did not look away from his computer screen. "Yuna, look at these readings. The containment energy has increased by 30% since the volunteers went up." Yuna pulled up a chair next to him and studied the numbers. She was young, but very smart. Like Dr. Park Min-ho, she understood quantum physics well enough to see what the data meant. "That is a lot of increase," she said slowly. "What do you think is causing it?" "More specimens," Taiho replied. "The aliens are collecting more living things and putting them in suspended animation. I think our volunteers are not learning about alien technology. I think they have become part of the alien collection." Yuna was quiet for a long moment. Then she asked, "What kind of collection would need so much containment energy?" Taiho opened a new program on his computer. "Let me show you something I discovered yesterday." He had spent hours analyzing the quantum signatures from the alien ships. By studying the different energy patterns, he could map out the internal structure of the vessels. What he found was terrifying. "Look at this," he said, pointing to a 3D model on his screen. "This is what the inside of one alien ship looks like, based on the energy readings." The model showed thousands of small chambers arranged in perfect rows. Each chamber glowed with the same type of containment energy that Taiho had been detecting. But there were different sections with different colored lights. The blue sections contained one type of specimen, Taiho explained. The red sections contain another type. Green sections, yellow sections, purple sections. It looks like they are sorting different species into different areas. "Different species?" Yuna asked. "You mean they have collected aliens from other planets too?" "I think so," Taiho said. "Huh, and I think humans are just the newest addition to their collection." He pulled up another screen showing energy pattern analysis. "Hi, I've been studying the quantum signatures from each section. The patterns are all different, but they follow the same basic structure. K, living beings in suspended animation, sorted by their biological and mental characteristics." Yuna stared at the data with growing horror. "How many beings do you think are up there?" Taiho did some quick calculations. "Based on the energy requirements, I estimate about 2 million specimens per ship. With 3 ships, that means they are holding around 6 million captured beings from across the galaxy." "This is insane," Yuna whispered. "We have to tell someone. The government, the military, the news media." "I tried," Taiho said sadly. "Nobody believes me. They think I am just a paranoid scientist making up crazy theories." As if to prove his point, the laboratory door burst open and Dr. Park Min-ho walked in. But something was wrong with him. His usually cheerful face looked blank and emotionless. His eyes seemed different, like he was looking through them instead of with them. Taiho Min-ho said in a flat, monotone voice, "You need to stop this research immediately, Min-ho." Taiho stood up from his chair. "What is wrong with you? You sound strange." "There's nothing wrong with me," Min-ho replied. "I have been selected to help coordinate the cultural exchange program. The Calarians have given me important responsibilities. But your research is creating problems." Yuna grabbed Taiho's arm. "Something is very wrong here," she whispered. "The Calarians are our friends," Min-ho continued in that same flat voice. "They're here to help humanity join the galactic community. Your suspicious activities are endangering this important relationship." Taiho felt his heart pounding. His friend had been changed somehow. The aliens had done something to him. "Min-ho, listen to me," Taiho said carefully. "When did you last sleep? When did you last eat? Do you remember what you were doing yesterday?" For just a moment, confusion flickered across Min-ho's face. Then the blank expression returned. I remember everything that is important, Minho said. The Calarians have enhanced my mind to better serve the exchange program. You should volunteer for the same enhancement. It is very pleasant. Run, Yuna whispered urgently. We need to run right now, but it was too late. Heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway outside the laboratory. Through the window, Taiho could see black vehicles surrounding the building. Human security officers in dark uniforms were taking positions around the exits. Dr. Kim Taiho, a voice called from the hallway. Please come out peacefully. We need to discuss your research with you. Taiho quickly grabbed his computer hard drive and the backup data storage devices. Everything he had discovered about the alien ships was stored on these drives. If something happened to him, at least the evidence would survive. There is a back exit through the storage room, Yuna whispered. I can distract them while you escape. No, Taiho said. We go together or not at all. They moved quietly toward the back of the laboratory. Kindam, Minho stood perfectly still, watching them with those strange, empty eyes. You cannot hide from them, Minho said calmly. The Calarians can track anyone on Earth. It is better to cooperate willingly. Taiho and Yuna slipped into the storage room and closed the door behind them. The back exit led to an alley between buildings. They could hear voices and footsteps getting closer. Where can we go? Yuna asked. They can track anyone on Earth. How can we hide? We need to find other people who are suspicious about the aliens, Taiho replied. There must be others who have noticed something wrong. They reached the alley just as the security officers entered the laboratory. Taiho could hear them talking to Minho, asking where the scientists had gone. Sway, Yuna said, leading him toward a busy street full of late-night restaurants and shops. As they walked quickly through the crowds, Taiho's phone buzzed with a text message from an unknown number. Dr. Kim, if you are reading this, you are in great danger. There are others who know the truth about the aliens. Meet us at the old subway station on Line 6 at midnight tomorrow. Come alone and trust no one from the government. Colonel Choi. Taiho showed the message to Yuna. Do you think this is real? He asked. I think we do not have any other choice, she replied. They found a small hotel where they paid cash for a room. Taiho spent the rest of the night analyzing his data and preparing for the worst. Telians were not just collecting humans. They were changing some humans to help with the collection process, and if his calculations were correct, they were running out of time. The alien ships were preparing for something big, something that would affect every person on Earth. The cultural exchange program was just the beginning. The real harvest was about to start. The old subway station smelled like rust and dampness. Dr. Kim, Taiho, and Lee Yuna walked down the broken steps into the abandoned tunnel. Their footsteps echoed in the darkness. Taiho carried his laptop bag tightly against his chest, protecting the data that might be humanity's only hope. Are you sure this is safe? Yuna whispered as they moved deeper into the tunnel. Nothing is safe anymore, Taiho replied. But we need allies if we want to save our people. A bright flashlight beam suddenly lit up their faces. Taiho raised his hand to block the light and saw several figures standing in the shadows ahead. Dr. Kim, a woman's voice called out. I am Colonel Choi Hai-jin. Thank you for coming. The flashlight lowered, and Taiho could see a tall woman in military clothing walking toward them. She had short black hair and sharp, intelligent eyes. Behind her stood 3 other people, 2 men and 1 woman, all looking very serious. How did you know to contact me? Taiho asked. We have been monitoring all scientific research related to the alien ships, Colonel Choi explained. Your quantum energy readings caught our attention. Are the only scientist who has detected what the aliens are really doing. What do you know about them? Yuna asked. Colonel Choi gestured for them to follow her deeper into the tunnel. more than the government wants us to know. Come, let me show you something. They walked to a section of the tunnel where the walls were covered with photos, documents, and computer equipment. It looked like a secret research center hidden underground. This is Major Kim Jinwoo, Colonel Choi said, pointing to a serious-looking man studying a computer screen. He used to work in military intelligence before the aliens arrived. Okay. And this is Dr. Lee Sunmi, a biologist who has been studying the alien selection patterns. Selection patterns? Taiho asked. Dr. Lee Sunmi looked up from her work. The aliens are not choosing volunteers randomly. They have very specific criteria for who they take. Age, genetic background, intelligence level, physical health even, psychological profiles. It is like they are building a complete collection of human types. That matches what I found in the containment field data, Taiho said. He opened his laptop and showed them his analysis. The alien ships are organized like a giant specimen storage facility, different sections for different species. Major Kim Jinwoo walked over to look at the data. How many species do you think they have collected? Based on the energy patterns, I estimate they have specimens from at least 200 different worlds, Taiho replied. Maybe more. 200 worlds, Colonel Choi repeated slowly. That means they have been doing this for a very long time. Which brings us to the most important question, Dr. Lee Sunmi said. Why are they collecting all these species? What is their ultimate goal? Taiho pulled up another screen showing his latest calculations. I think they are building a genetic and cultural database of the entire galaxy. Every species they encounter gets studied, cataloged, and stored. Then, they probably move on to the next world. Like cosmic collectors, Yuna said, with disgust. Exactly, Taiho nodded. And once they finish collecting from Earth, they will leave, taking millions of humans with them. Colonel Choi clenched her fists. How long do we have? T's on the increasing containment energy levels. I estimate 3 or 4 days before they begin mass collection, Taiho replied. The volunteer program was just the beginning. Soon, they will start taking people whether they volunteer or not. Then we need to act now, Major Kim Jinwoo said. But how do we fight them? Their technology is far more advanced than ours. We cannot fight their ships directly, Colonel Choi agreed. Our weapons would be useless against their defenses. Taiho stared at his computer screen for a long moment. An idea was forming in his mind. It's a crazy, dangerous idea that might be their only chance. What if we do not fight their ships? He said quietly. What if we turn their own technology against them? What do you mean? Dr. Lee Sunmi asked. The containment fields, Taiho explained. The aliens use massive quantum energy fields to keep all those specimens in suspended animation. But they probably do not understand the deep physics behind how those fields work. How do you know that? Colonel Choi asked. Because no species they had collected before had advanced quantum physics knowledge, Taiho replied. Think about it. If any of those 200 species had understood quantum mechanics the way we do, they would have found a way to escape. Huna's eyes widened with understanding. You want to collapse their containment fields? It's not just collapse them, Taiho said excitedly. I want to reverse them. Turn every containment field in their entire fleet into a liberation field. Free every single specimen they have collected. Is that even possible? Major Kim Jinwoo asked. Taiho began typing rapidly on his laptop. Theoretically, yes. Quantum containment fields work by creating stable energy barriers around living tissue. But if you introduce the right frequency of quantum interference, you can destabilize the entire system. But the scale, Dr. Lee Sunmi said, those ships are enormous. How could we generate enough quantum interference to affect their entire fleet? We use Earth itself as a quantum amplifier, Taiho replied. Every particle accelerator, every quantum research facility, every university physics lab on the planet, we link them all together and create a synchronized quantum pulse. Colonel Choi looked skeptical. Would that really work? The physics is sound, Taiho said. But there are problems. First, we would need access to research facilities all around the world. Second, the timing would have to be perfect. And third, ... He paused, looking at the calculations on his screen. Third, Yuna prompted. Someone would have to manually control the quantum frequencies in real time, Taiho said quietly. The interference patterns are too complex for a computer to handle. A human operator would need to adjust the frequencies as the cascade spreads through the alien ships. That does not sound too difficult, Major Kim Jin-woo said. The quantum feedback would be enormous, Taiho continued. The person controlling the system would be exposed to massive amounts of quantum radiation. They would probably die. The tunnel became very quiet. Everyone understood what Taiho was saying. The plan could work, but it would require someone to sacrifice their life. I will do it, Taiho said simply. I understand the physics better than anyone else. I am the logical choice. No, Yuna said firmly. There has to be another way. There is no other way, Taiho replied. And we are running out of time. Every hour we wait, more humans disappear into those ships. Colonel Choi stood up and began pacing. Kiev, even if we accept the sacrifice, how do we get access to all those research facilities? Most of them are under government control, and the government is compromised by alien influence. We have contacts, Major Kim Jin-woo said. Military personnel, scientists, technicians who have not been affected by the alien mind control. People who are suspicious but afraid to act alone. It will have to be a coordinated strike, Dr. Lee Sunmi added. We take control of the facilities simultaneously, implement the quantum link, can't execute the cascade before the aliens can stop us. How many people will we need? Colonel Choi asked. At least 50 teams in major cities around the world. Taiho calculated. Each team would need someone who understands quantum physics well enough to operate the equipment. That is a lot of people to coordinate without being detected, Yuna pointed out. The aliens are focused on their collection process, Major Kim Jin-woo said. T might not notice our preparations until it is too late. Colonel Choi stopped pacing and looked at each person in the group. This is the most desperate plan I have ever heard. The chances of success are minimal. Most of us would probably die trying. But if we do nothing, everyone dies anyway, Dr. Lee Sunmi said. At least this way, we have a chance. And if we succeed, Taiho added, we freed millions of beings from across the galaxy. We stop the aliens from destroying any more civilizations. Colonel Choi nodded slowly. Then we do it. We have 48 hours to contact our allies, take control of the quantum research facilities, and implement the cascade. It's 48 hours to save the world, Yuna said quietly. Taiho looked at his friends and new allies. They were just a small group of people hiding in an abandoned subway tunnel. But they were about to attempt something that no species in galactic history had ever tried. They were going to fight back. Dr. Kim Taiho sat in the central control room, watching numbers change on dozens of computer screens round the world. 53 research facilities were coming online one by one. Green lights appeared on his main display as each team confirmed. They were ready to begin the quantum cascade. Seoul Quantum Lab ready, came a voice through his headset. Tokyo University Physics Department ready, said another voice. Geneva Particle Accelerator ready. MIT Quantum Research ready. The voices continued as facilities from every continent reported in. Colonel Choi Hyjin had done the impossible. In just 48 hours, her network of allies had taken control of every major quantum physics facility on Earth. Military personnel, university professors, and research scientists who had grown suspicious of the aliens all worked together for this one desperate chance. But time was running out. Outside the Windows of the Sol facility. Massive beams of light were shooting down from the alien ships. The Calarians had started their final harvest. No more volunteers. No more cultural exchange programs. They were simply taking humans by the thousands. Dr. Kim, Colonel Choi's voice came through the radio. The aliens have detected our activities. They are sending ships to attack the research facilities. Taiho looked at his screens. The quantum synchronization was only at 60%. They needed at least 90% to create a cascade powerful enough to affect the entire alien fleet. How much time do we have? He asked. Maybe 10 minutes. Before they reached the first facilities, Colonel Choi replied. The ones in Europe are closest to the alien ships. We need 15 minutes minimum, Taiho said. Told the European teams to hold their positions as long as possible. Through his headset, he could hear explosions and gunfire from some of the facilities. The aliens were not just using their advanced technology. They were using human soldiers who had been mentally controlled, just like Dr. Park Min-ho. Geneva facility under attack, came a panicked voice. They have surrounded the building. We are trying to hold them off. Berlin facility reporting enemy forces, said another voice. They have some kind of stunning weapons that make people collapse without injuries. Taiho forced himself to concentrate on the quantum calculations. Every second counted now. The cascade had to be perfect, or it would fail completely. One mistake in the frequency patterns in the alien containment fields would become stronger instead of weaker. 70% synchronization achieved, announced Li Yuna from her position at the secondary control station. She was monitoring the global network while Taiho prepared the cascade sequence. Geneva facility has fallen, came a grim report. The aliens have taken control of our equipment. Taiho quickly adjusted his calculations to compensate for the lost facility. We can still do this with the remaining sites, he told Yuna. But the margin for error is now very small. Commander Vextel's image suddenly appeared on every screen in the control room. His large black eyes stared directly at Taiho through the cameras. Dr. Kim Taiho, the alien commander, said in his calm, emotionless voice, "You are attempting something very foolish. Stop this process immediately, and we will spare your world from additional suffering. Tell him we are not interested in his mercy." Colonel Choi said over the radio. Taiho ignored the alien commander and continued working. 80% synchronization. The quantum fields from research facilities around the world were beginning to link together into one massive network. "You do not understand what you are doing," Commander Vextel continued. "The quantum cascade you are attempting will destroy more than just our containment fields. It will create a chain reaction that could damage the structure of space itself." "He is lying," Yuna said. "The cascade will only affect artificial quantum containments. Natural space will not be harmed." "How do you know that?" Taiho asked, still typing commands into his computer. "Because if quantum cascades could damage space, the universe would have destroyed itself billions of years ago," Yuna replied. "Quantum events happen naturally all the time." 85% synchronization. But more facilities were falling. 2 alien attacks. London facility lost, came another report. They are moving faster than we expected. Moscow facility under heavy assault. We cannot hold much longer. Tokyo facility reporting alien ships approaching from the south. Taiho looked at his calculations. They were close enough. Not perfect, but close enough to try. 90%. Synchronization achieved, Yuna announced. "All stations, prepare for quantum cascade initiation," Taiho said into his microphone. "This is our only chance." "Dr. Kim," Commander Vextel said, his voice becoming urgent for the first time. "You will kill millions of beings if you proceed. The cascade will not just free our specimens, it will destroy the life support systems keeping them alive." Taiho paused. Was the alien commander telling the truth? Would the cascade kill the very beings they were trying to save? "He is desperate," Yuna said. Look at the containment field structure. The life support systems are separate from the specimen containment. The cascade will only affect the stasis fields. Keiho studied his data one more time. Yuna was right. The life support systems use different quantum frequencies. They would not be affected by the cascade. Initiating quantum cascade in 10 seconds. He announced. The alien commander's image flickered and disappeared from the screens. Across the world, Taiho could feel the massive quantum fields building to critical levels. 5 seconds, he said. 4, 3, 2, 1. Execute. Taiho pressed the activation key and felt the world change around him. Quantum energy surged through the global network of research facilities. The cascade began as a small ripple in the fabric of space near Earth, then expanded outward at the speed of light. But something went wrong immediately. The quantum feedback was much stronger than his calculations had predicted. Instead of a controlled pulse, the cascade became a roaring storm of energy that threatened to tear apart every quantum field within 1,000,000 kilometers. The feedback is too strong, Yuna shouted over the noise of overloading equipment. Cascade is becoming unstable. Taiho realized what had happened. The aliens were right about one thing. The scale was enormous. Not just the 3 ships above Earth, but thousands of hidden alien vessels throughout the solar system. The quantum cascade was trying to affect a fleet 10 times larger than they had imagined. I have to manually control the frequencies, Taiho said, placing his hands on the quantum control interface. It is the only way to stabilize the cascade. Taiho, no, Yuna said. The quantum radiation will kill you. If I do not do this, the cascade will collapse and we lose our only chance. Taiho replied. He pressed his hands against the control interface and felt quantum energy flowing through his body. It was like being struck by lightning, but he forced himself to concentrate on the frequency patterns. The cascade was spreading through space, reaching the alien ships, beginning to destabilize their containment fields. But the feedback was incredible. Taiho could feel the quantum radiation changing his body at the cellular level. His vision blurred and his hands began to shake uncontrollably. Containment fields collapsing on alien Vessel 1, came a report from the monitoring station. Vessel 2 showing massive system failures. Vessel 3 reporting internal explosions. Through the quantum interface, Taiho could sense what was happening inside the alien ships. Millions of containment fields were failing simultaneously. Beings from hundreds of different worlds were waking up from suspended animation for the first time in decades or centuries. But the cascade was doing more than just freeing prisoners. It was reversing the polarity of every quantum system on the alien ships. Their weapons, their engines, their life support systems, everything was beginning to fail. The alien fleet is retreating, Colonel Choi reported. Ships are appearing from behind the moon, from Jupiter orbit, from everywhere, hundreds of them, and they are all running away. Taiho smiled through the pain as quantum energy continued to flow through him. The cascade had worked better than he had ever hoped. Not only had they freed the alien prisoners, they had destroyed the Galarian Empire's ability to continue their harvesting operations. But the quantum radiation was killing him. He could feel his body breaking down at the molecular level. Soon, he would not be able to maintain control of the cascade, Taiho, Yuna said softly. You can let go now. The cascade is self-sustaining. Not yet, Taiho replied weakly. I can sense other ships farther out. This cascade needs to reach all of them. He held on for another 30 seconds, guiding the quantum wave as it spread through the entire solar system. When the last alien ship disappeared from his quantum sense, Taiho finally released his grip on the control interface. He collapsed to the floor, his body glowing with strange quantum energy patterns. But he was alive. Somehow, impossibly. He had survived the quantum storm that should have killed him instantly. The cascade is complete, Yuna announced to all stations. The alien fleet has been defeated. Around the world, humans began emerging from hiding to see empty skies for the first time in a week. The massive alien ships were gone, retreating to whatever distant corner of the galaxy they had come from. 6 months after the quantum cascade, Dr. Kim Tae-ho stood in his new laboratory looking out at a very different world. Strange blue lines ran across his hands and arms, glowing softly in the dim light. The quantum radiation had changed him in ways that scientists were still trying to understand. But the changes had given him abilities that no human had ever possessed before. He could see quantum energy patterns with his naked eyes. He could sense the flow of probability streams through space and time. Most importantly, he could detect approaching alien ships from distances that normal sensors could never reach. And right now, those abilities were telling him that Earth was about to have visitors again. Dr. Kim Lee-Yuna called from across the laboratory. She was now his research partner, helping him develop new quantum technologies for Earth's defense. The deep space sensors are picking up something unusual. Tae-ho turned away from the window and walked to the monitoring station. The screens showed massive energy signatures approaching from multiple directions. But these were different from the Calarian ships they had defeated months ago. How many ships? He asked. It's at least 300, Yuna replied. Maybe more, Teeny, and they are coming from 5 different star systems. The laboratory door opened and Colonel Choi Haijin entered, now wearing the uniform of Earth's 1st Space Defense. Commander Hinder walked a tall, blue-skinned alien with 6 arms and large, intelligent eyes. Tae-ho, I want you to meet Kathara, Colonel Choi said. She was one of the beings your cascade freed from the Calarian ships. It is an honor to meet the one who liberated my people, Kathara said in perfect English. Her voice was musical and pleasant. We have traveled far to warn you of what approaches. The ships we are detecting, Tae-ho asked. The Harvest Alliance, Kathara replied grimly. When word spread across the galaxy that humans had destroyed a Calarian harvesting fleet, every other harvester civilization became terrified. You have proven that their ancient methods can be defeated. Colonel Choi activated a holographic display showing the approaching fleets. Kathara's people have been monitoring deep space communications. The harvesters are forming an alliance to destroy humanity before we can teach other species the quantum cascade technique. How many civilizations are coming? Yuna asked. 5 major harvester empires, Kathara answered. The Void Collectors, the Mind Reapers, the Gene Weavers, the Soul Binders, and the Memory Thieves. Each one has been harvesting species for thousands of years. Together, they command fleets that could destroy entire star systems. Tae-ho studied the energy patterns on his screens. His quantum-enhanced vision could see details that normal sensors missed. These ships are different from the Calarians. Their technology is much more advanced. Each harvester empire developed different methods, Kathara explained. The Calarians were actually among the weakest. The others have weapons and defenses that your cascade might not be able to affect. Then we need to develop new techniques, Tae-ho said. How much time do we have? 3 weeks, maybe 4, Colonel Choi replied. But we are not facing this alone. Kathara's people are not the only ones who were freed by your cascade. Representatives from over 50 liberated species have come to Earth. They want to help. U.S. fight. As if summoned by her words, the laboratory door opened again. A group of aliens entered, each one completely different from the others. There was a crystalline being that sparkled like a living diamond, a creature that looked like it was made of flowing water, and a tall, thin alien with skin like tree bark. These are ambassadors from the Liberation Coalition, Colonel Choi explained. Species that were freed when your cascade destroyed harvester containment fields across multiple star systems. The crystalline being stepped forward and spoke in a voice that sounded like wind chimes. Dr. Kim Tae-ho, your quantum cascade freed my people after 800 years of captivity. We offer our knowledge of defensive technologies to help protect your world. My species was harvested by the Mind Reapers 3 centuries ago, said the water-like alien. We know their weaknesses and can teach you how to defend against their mental attacks. The Gene Weavers took my people 500 years past, added the tree-like alien. We have studied their biological weapons and developed countermeasures. Taiho felt overwhelmed. 6 months ago, he had been a small-time physicist that nobody would listen to. Now, representatives from across the galaxy were looking to him for leadership in the interstellar war. What do you need from me? He asked. Your quantum cascade technique must be shared with every free species in the galaxy, the crystalline being replied. Only by working together can we defeat the Harvester Alliance. But the cascade is not enough, Kethra added. The approaching fleets have learned from the Calarian defeat. They will have new defenses against quantum interference. Taiho nodded. Slowly. Then we need to develop something new. Something they have never seen before. Over the following weeks, Earth became the center of the galaxy's first anti-Harvester alliance. Alien scientists worked alongside human researchers to develop new technologies. The quantum cascade technique was refined and adapted for different types of harvester containment systems. Dr. Park Minho, now recovered from the alien mind control, rejoined the research team. His experience of being mentally influenced gave valuable insights into how the harvesters controlled their victims. The Mind Reapers use quantum resonance to alter brain patterns, he explained during one research session. But if we can create quantum static, we might be able to block their mental attacks. What about the soul binders? Yuna asked. Kathata said, they can trap the life force itself. Soul binding is just another form of quantum containment, Taiho replied. If we understand the principles, we can reverse it, just like we did with the Calarian specimen fields. As the alien fleets drew closer, Earth's defenses grew stronger. The Liberation Coalition shared technologies that humanity could never have developed alone. Quantum cascade weapons were installed on space stations around Earth. Mental shielding devices protected important personnel from mind control. Biological filters prevented gene-based attacks. But Taiho knew it would not be enough. The Harvester Alliance was bringing the combined power of 5 ancient empires. Conventional defenses would only slow them down. On the day before the alien fleets arrived, Taiho made an announcement that shocked everyone. We are not going to fight a defensive war, he told the assembled coalition leaders. We are going to attack first. Attack? Colonel Choi asked, how can we attack fleets that powerful? By doing what humans do best, Taiho replied with a smile. Something completely unexpected. He activated a holographic display showing his latest calculations. The harvester fleets are traveling together for mutual protection, but that also makes them vulnerable. If we can create a quantum cascade large enough, we can affect all their ships simultaneously. The power requirements would be enormous, Kathira said. No single planet could generate that much quantum energy. You are right, Taiho agreed. But we do not need just one planet. The Liberation Coalition includes over 50 species on dozens of worlds. If we link all their quantum research facilities together, Galactic Quantum Cascade, the crystalline being said with amazement. It has never been attempted, cause no one has ever had a reason to try it before, Taiho replied. The harvesters have controlled the galaxy for so long that no one imagined fighting back was possible. The plan was incredibly ambitious. Quantum facilities on 50 different worlds would need to synchronize their energy outputs across interstellar distances. The timing would have to be perfect to within nanoseconds, and someone would need to control the entire cascade manually. I will handle the control interface again, Taiho said. The quantum feedback from a galactic cascade would be 1,000 times stronger than what you survived before, Yuna protested. It will definitely kill you. Maybe, Taiho replied. But if we do nothing, the harvesters will destroy every free species in the galaxy. This is our only chance to end their reign permanently. As the harvester fleets entered the solar system, the Galactic Coalition put their desperate plan into action. Across 50 worlds, quantum research facilities powered up their equipment. The energy buildup was so massive that it could be detected from neighboring galaxies. The harvesters realized too late what was happening. Their fleets tried to scatter, but they were already within range of the cascade. Taiho, his body now glowing brightly with quantum energy, guided the wave as it expanded through space at faster than light speeds. But this cascade was different from the one that had defeated the Calarians. Instead of just collapsing containment fields, it fundamentally altered the quantum structure of harvester technology. Their ships, their weapons, their entire technological base simply stopped working across the galaxy. Every harvester empire found their fleets dead in space. Millions of captured beings were freed from thousands of collection ships. The ancient reign of the harvesters ended in a single moment. Taiho survived the galactic cascade, as though the quantum energy flowing through him was now visible to everyone around him. This had become something new, something that bridged the gap between human and pure energy. What happens now? Colonel Choi asked, as they watched the disabled harvester fleets being surrounded by coalition forces.